Hi! Well, this is a turn up for the books, isn't it? The government are being accused of using COVID fear tactics to inflate anxiety levels of British public. Well, that's not a surprise to me. I've been telling everybody about it since the beginning. I'm called dumb, I'm called a conspiracist, but let's get into this. The government has been accused of using covert strategies to keep people in a perpetual state of heightened fear to make them obey the COVID-19 restrictions. But who are these people accusing the government of inciting fear? Is it us conspiracists? No, it's not. A group of 47 psychologists, yes, psychologists, not conspiracy theorists, have claimed this amounts to a strategic decision to inflate fear levels of the British public, which states is ethically murky and has left people too afraid to leave their homes for medical appointments. Led by former NHS consultant psychologist Dr. Gary Sidley, the experts have written to the British Psychological Society claiming the strategy is morally questionable. These psychologists use the very same paper that I have been referring to throughout this crisis. Options for increasing adherence to social distancing measures, 22nd of March 2020. These psychologists state the same as I have stated. My concerns with this paper. The perceived level of threat needs to be increased among those who are complacent by using hard-hitting and emotional messaging. Psychologists know, while the content of messaging might be factual, the way in which it is delivered will determine the impact, and we believe the biggest impact is at a subconscious level. Hence why I've used the phrase subconsciously manipulated. They do not believe it's ethical or healthy for people, and they fear it's doing more harm than good. Obviously, the government have come out and said they haven't done anything wrong. But it will be interesting to see what the BPS has to say in their response by February the 18th. But for now, I'm going to talk a bit more about the paper that the psychologists are talking about. Options for increasing adherence to social distancing measures, 22nd of March 2020. The psychologist already mentioned this in the article, but it comes under persuasion, which is section 2 of the paper. The perceived level of personal threat needs to be increased among those who are complacent, using hard-hitting emotional messaging. In this table in the paper, it shows exactly how they're supposed to do it. For example, they're going to use the media. How many people do you know that won't watch the media no more because it just scares the hell out of them? But what's worse of all, when you actually take a look at who wrote this paper or who is the head of the behavioural sciences of SAGE, you'll see her name, Michie S. It stands for Susan Michie. Susan Michie is a British psychologist and political activist, which we'll get to in a minute. She is the director of UCL's Centre for Behaviour Change. So she obviously knows enough about subconsciously manipulating people. And she also sits on a subcommittee of SAGE scientists. But here's the scary bit. Susan Michie is a member of the Communist Party of Britain. Are you happy being brainwashed by a communist? Michie said on the 10th of this month that the lockdowns at the moment were too lax to tackle this new variant. How about that? A communist who wants more control. But I'd like to point out at this point that this is not the only country this is happening in. This is happening all around the world. Why could that be? Well, I have my opinions on that too, of which I won't go into in this video. Everything I talk about in these videos is linked in the description box below. And to all those people that think that I'm just some dumb conspiracist, I would rather be dumb and aware than subconsciously manipulated and living in fear. Anyway, love to know your thoughts. Please leave me a comment. As always, thank you for watching.